We had another talk, sauna talks. Oh my gosh, we do really have some interesting talks, not just in the sauna anyway. So, what was our conclusion? It's some of the conclusions were we are so in a program, so wrapped up in our identities that we have, I'm going to say, spoon fed through institutions, schooling, nursery, anyway, all them kind of institutions, TV, media, music. So we are so wrapped up in self-importance, which great to have a love for self, nurture for self. However, unserving self-importance, when it comes down to it, fragile, very fragile, very insecure if we take off the layers. So we cannot see the wood for the trees. So the conclusion of so caught up in our identity, what we believe is real, we cannot see the wood through the trees. We cannot see amazing people. This is why I mention again Ibrahim Traore, the archetypes of us, or amazing other people doing amazing other work, from the Most High. I'm going to say from the Most High, the most authentic. And why don't we see it? Because we're so caught up and wrapped up in our identity. Pete, great, the old spoon-fed Pete from environment, surroundings, institutions, brothers, sisters, mothers, etc., even today, people policing each other into a sense of their reality of what they've been spoon-fed because of their insecurities, all trying to capture you within their reality without even knowing. It's not a problem, it's just what is. It's just like, can we feel, can we absorb, can we meet the person on an energy field? Generally not, because our energy field is so traumatized and, like, let's just say, don't even want to use the word fragile, but just so out of sync. So what are we meeting? Generally we are only meeting ourselves. Get your energy field down to a calm, relaxed state, and then you can really feel. We talk about heart, we talk about love. Clueless. We're clueless. I mean, come on, let's get real. Really get to nurture and love ourselves. Our mothers and fathers didn't know. So we all, you could say, majority of us try and do our best. So I'm going to go back to, why can't we see the divine in women? Why can't we see the divine masculine? Because we are so caught up in trauma. It's a psyop, guys. Come on, wake up. Karma, whatever. Yeah, we chose this, whatever we want to use, whatever words we want to use. Yes, there is a scientific karma, cause and effect. So there is that cause and effects. There's ripples. So whatever word we want to use. I'm going to go back to Abraham Traore. Why can't we see amazing people like him and people before him, people around now? Because it brings up our stuff, our trauma. We can't see the authenticity in ourselves. We can't see, the God made us in his image. We cannot, might be able to mentally, I know that. Well, please don't say I know. Only if you're going to talk to I, say I've experienced that, and still it's subjective to your experience. How deep have you gone? Have you really gone deep? And keep peeling off the layers. And then when you realize, we never know. We have an experience at a given time. and then that changes. So yes, come on. We cannot allow good brothers and sisters, we cannot allow them to be taken out. If we really look honestly, I'm the youngest of 6. I've witnessed, if I look back now, wow, I allowed my sister to be taken out. I allowed my other sister. I allowed my mother. The thing is, we don't want to go into spaces. We don't want to be presented with the truth. However, yeah, I did my best. I'm not going to go into guilt. It's just owning it. It's like, wow, so you can own it and then don't aspire not to do it again. Right, my device is getting too hot. So a part 2 of that, owning it, being accountable. Yeah, and you can come across people, what about this, what about that? And it's like, well, yeah, let's have a discussion about that, you know? And we use the word, we're all not perfect. I mean, however, we are. So life and words can be a massive contradiction. The very English language is a contradiction. Double, treble meanings. I mean, no wonder certain persons, groups wanted that to spread worldwide via Christianity and whatever means. The big tell lie vision everywhere, internet everywhere. So we wise to use things wisely and get our house in order, our vehicle in order, so we can see the wood through from the trees. So being accountable. So fragility, and recognize, even I talk about certain things, I be very conscious that I'm not spending too much time on a topic, because everything is a reflection. We can use that as an scapegoat, excuse, etc. Okay, everything is a reflection. Let's aspire to put our attention to the higher aspects of life. Doesn't mean we don't still venture into looking at the duality, the so-called good, bad, dark, light. It's just having an acceptance of all. And yeah, if you pick and choose, you want to choose the dark, then that's your game, man. We use the phrase, whatever rocks your boat. Well, whatever steadies my boat. That's what I'm going to say. Personally, my boat's been rocked for many, 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 many years. Been like treading water before actually catching a first surf on your surfboard. I've only done that once. It's like, oh my gosh, it was worth the 40 odd years of treading water. So I'm going off a little bit here. So I would say an issue is, we go back. Why do I mention Abraham Traore? Because if you look back in history, aspiring to, you could say, reunite in Africa. It's just, we are all part of each other. We have all sort of endemic kind of programs going on. And maybe because I've picked away at mine, seeing that we all have them. All our prejudice, my prejudice. My mum's Caucasian, my dad's from the Caribbean. Didn't really know my Caribbean ancestry too well. On a level, I'm glad I didn't know I'm going to say, the indoctrinated aspect of that. Otherwise, I'll be too wrapped up in other indoctrinations. So, there's an opportunity for certain people to go back to the more core essence, of the African, or the more core essence in the Caucasian. So I have the two. Won't go on about that too much. So, peeling away all them layers, we are much more than that. Yeah, we can just throw that about. Yeah, we're all one, we're all this. However, what I recognize is to embody it. You know, when you really embody, really do the work, really defrag, then you get a true essence of that. Let's not throw around words flippantly. You know, beautiful sayings, beautiful meanings, beautiful core essence that have been, you know, abused, bastardized. You know, get our house in order, and then whatever comes out of our mouth is more authentic and more godly, divine, mother earthly, however we want to look at it. So I'm going on about, yeah, Abraham Traore. Also, I have a son the same age, 38, and I'm a father. So I'm like, well done, Abraham. I would be like so proud. I'm so proud of my men already. I'm so proud of my daughter. I'm so proud of them. So proud, you know, to get where they have in these days. So Abraham Traore, I'm like, oh my gosh. You know, and there's other people. You know, 7 years ago I met this really so authentic person, Honourable Priest Kailash in the Caribbean island St. Lucia. You know, his mission is to bring proper health, natural proper health care to the island, free. Abraham is doing that already. Gaddafi was doing that. Others before him are doing that. So why aren't we seeing this? Why? So we have in us is like a disease, like a virus, which I've witnessed in me, and there's not most of us are like that. So in us, we have some investment in our story. You know, we don't want to look that we have been part of the problem, that we have been privileged of third world countries. We really don't want to look at that. So by being quiet and silent, we are part of that. You know, the best thing we can do, rather than demonstrating on the streets, etc., is support. As far as I'm concerned, Ibrahim Traore is my son. So he goes down, I'll be devastated. However, people like him, doing good God's work. So go deep. We have something invested in us, in our surroundings, in our lovely little house, our wardrobes full of clothes, full of shoes. You know, this prison that we've been encapsulated in. So this is why people like him in the past have failed. Different times now. So let's support good people doing good work, you know. And sort your shit out, man. Come on, sort it out. Projecting all sorts of nonsense onto other people, you know, and recognize the authenticity in us, and then we will recognize the authenticity in other people, and then we will truly come together to support that in one another and bring out the best in each other, and be accountable for your projections, for your anger, for your frustrations. You find tools, find different protocols to support you in that, so you can be a better person for the planet, for other people, for your children. You know, a better vehicle for birthing this new world, this new system. I'll leave it there.